Now let us look at what is centralized dispatching. Centralized dispatching is the organization of the dispatching function into one central location. This structure often involves the use of data collection devices for communication between the centralized dispatching function and the other departments, usually the production control and shop manufacturing. Centralized dispatching में आपके पास क्या है? एक centralized control मौजूद है. In fact, the dispatching of that organization would be centralized. वो centralized कैसे है? कि whatever is being dispatched from the shop manufacturing or your production control system, whatever is being manufactured would be dispatched in one unit. And it often involves the data collection devices. What will happen? आपके पास एक से ज़्यादा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स हो सकते हैं, एक से ज़्यादा जो है वो एरियाज हो सकते हैं, एक से ज़्यादा आपके पास यूनिट्स हो सकते हैं जहां पर आप मैन्युफैक्चर या प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं. नाउ व्हाटएवर इज बीइंग डिस्पैच्ड फ्रॉम ईच मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट, इट विल एक्चुअली कम टू वन सेंट्रलाइज्ड डिस्पैचिंग एरिया. और वहां पर हाउ वुड यू कंट्रोल दैट फ्रॉम लेट्स से लोकेशन एक्स दिस मच ऑफ अ क्वांटिटी इज कमिंग? It would be done through information systems. So with the evolution of information systems, centralized dispatching has become more and more attractive to different organizations. And why you do it? Because you would know how much quantity you have or how much supply you have of some certain products. It also helps in the communication. Communication be better ho jati hai between and among different manufacturing units, that you would know how much each manufacturing unit has actually produced and what type of products or items are being produced in what quantity, in what number, and what is being left with you in that dispatching area. Okay, then we have some important types of carriers. There is class 1 carrier, there is class 2 carrier, there is class 3 carrier. I will discuss them one by one. What is a class 1 carrier? A classification of regulated carriers. Regulated means obviously government rules or government regulations are actually applied on them and they have to follow the government regulations based upon annual operating revenues. So annual revenues would be the parameter or the benchmark on which you would have the classification of the carrier as class 1, class 2 or class 3. For motor carriers of property greater than or equal to $5 million. For railroads greater than or equal to $50 million. For motor carriers of passengers greater than or equal to $3 million. So these are the benchmarks. अगर इन thresholds से ज़्यादा आपके पास annual revenue, operating revenue मौजूद है, it's the operating revenue, it is not the profit, then it would be a class 1 carrier. Of course, it would be government owned or government regulated carriers. Then we have class 2 carriers, a classification of regulated carriers based upon annual operating revenues. For motor carrier, the property, let's say more than $1 to $5 million, but not more than $5 million. If it is more than $5 million, it would be a class 1 carrier. For railroads, $10 million to $50 million. For motor carriers of passengers less than or equal to $3 million. So these are the three parameters, thresholds for the class 2 carrier. Then we have class 3 carrier, a classification of regulated carriers based upon annual operating revenues. For motor carrier of property less than equal to $1 million, not more than 1 million, otherwise it would be in the class 2. Then for railroads greater than or equal to $10 million. So these are class 1, class 2 and class 3 carriers for the customers. Then we have code sharing, a practice in which 2 or more different airlines shares the same 2-letter code used to identify carriers in travel agents reservation system. It's a common practice in ticket reservation system where 2 or more than 2 different airlines, they would share the 2 same letters. Though a code hai, starting code would be the same. That means कि अगर एक reservation किसी airline पर हो रही है, किसी एक specific flight की, तो द अदर एजेंट वुड नो कि उस एयरलाइन पर ये टिकट जो है वो इस वक्त रिजर्व हो चुकी हुई है. दैट इज एक्चुअली फॉर द कन्वीनियंस ऑफ द एजेंट्स रिजर्वेशन सिस्टम. द कोड शेयरिंग इज एक्चुअली एन इम्पॉर्टेंट और convenient tool for reservation systems in airline. Then we have a commerce chain management, CCM. The concept actually refers to internet-based tools to facilitate sales, distribution, inventory management, and content personalization in the e-commerce industry. यानी CCM एक broader concept है जिसमें इंटरनेट बेस्ड टूल्स की और फैसिलिटीज़ की बात कर दी जाती है, with the help of which you would be actually monitoring and evaluating and planning your sales or distribution or your inventory or something which is for the betterment or for the smooth working of your e-commerce industry. Thank you.